Good evening, teacher Jorge Checa. My name is Evelyn Orellana. This is my extra speaking of the Unit 9. In the first class of the Unit 9, we can learn about the passive voice. The passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that experience an action rather than the person or object that performs the action. In other words, the most important thing or person becomes the subject of the sentence. The passive voice consists of the subject, the verb to be in the correct tense, the past participle of the verb needed, sometimes the agent and or other complements. Examples: tense, present simple, active, I make a cake, passive, a cake is made, present continuous, active, I'm making a cake, passive, a cake is being made, past simple, active, I made a cake, passive, a cake was made, past continuous, active, I was making a cake, passive, a cake was being made, present perfect, active, I have made a cake, passive, a cake has been made, past perfect, active, I had made a cake, passive, a cake had been made. In the second class of the Unit 9, we can learn about the relative pronouns. This is who, was, when, where, that, which, who. This is relative pronouns we can use in the definite relative clause and the non-definite relative clause. Definite relative clause. A definite relative clause identifies who or what we are speaking about, whereas a non-definite relative clause just gives us more information about who or what we are speaking about. A definite relative clause is essential in a sentence because we need it in order to know who or what someone is describing. Non-definite relative clause. We use non-definite relative clause to give extra information about the person or thing. It is not necessary information. We don't need it to understand who or what is being referred to. We always use a relative pronoun, who, which, whose, or whom, to introduce a non-definite relative clause. In the examples, the relative clause is involved and the person or thing being referred to is underlined. Example, definite versus non-definite relative clause. In definite, no commas, necessary information essential to distinguish which thing or person we are talking about. Example, I called my brother who lives in Ontario. We can use that instead of who or which. Example, that's the mug which or that I bought in Paris. In Paris, I didn't know the man who or that was there. Non-defining. Between commas, extra information not necessary to distinguish which thing or person we are talking about. Example, my brother who lives in Ontario is older. We cannot use that instead of who or which. Example, these bikes which cost a fortune are made in Japan. My favorite movie is this. Uh, my favorite movie is called Flip. It is a romantic comedy. It was released in 2010. The director of the movie is Rob Reiner. Its main actors were Callan McLeod as Bryce Losky and Madeleine Carroll as Julie Baker. It was shot in natural settings in Michigan with set designed by Thomas Del Ruth. The American film is adapted from the novel by author Wendelin Van Dranen. The film begins when Julie and Bryce, two seemingly very different 7 years old, are neighbors and classmates. Julie falls in love with Bryce, but he does not feel the same way and for 6 years tries to avoid her. When they are teenagers going to high school, things change. Bryce begins to look at Julie with different eyes. The story unfolds with central and important episodes of their lives, such as the first day of school, the sycamore tree that Julie loves, the chickens and eggs, Julie's uncle and his garden, the dinner between the two families and the boys' basket auction, and the subsequent picnic. All of these episodes help Julie realize that Bryce is not the dream boy she thought, and for Bryce to discover another side to the annoying neighbor who is obsessed with her. Thank you.